We're being mauled by a puppy in the background, okay. Streaming health is up. It says we're streaming, so give it a second for the channel to switch over to the internet can totally now see you. There we go. I think we're actually starting up now. Are we starting now? If you folks are seeing this, give us 1 second. There we go. All right. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and thank you for joining us once again, the Monsters of Gaming. I'm KaijuK, and with me here is Necro Nick.
Hello.
Well, it's been a hell of a day. We had plans to show off another live stream event, but unfortunately, due to events that are outside of our control, we couldn't do that one. We're going to be doing that one sometime later this week, though. So don't worry, we'll still be getting that one up. You guys will be talking to Battlefield Brandon and the Kitten of Doom as the rest of the group comes up with our idea of, hey, what would we do if we had our own country? Instead, we're going to go the complete left field and say, I got a better idea. Name that Pokemon. Now, this idea came from, of course, Necro Nick right here.
What's up?
With 2 hours of putting it all together, Necro Nick was finally ready. Unfortunately for Necro, though, I had already had this whole thing planned out for, like, months down the line, unfortunately. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the different types of Pokemon that are currently out from Gen 1 to Gen 7. Now, before we do that, though, I would like to wish every single father out there a Happy Father's Day, as would any every member of the Monsters of Gaming. So, Happy Father's Day. Now, without further ado, let's get this train wreck started.
Yeah.
If you want to call it a train wreck.
It's a train wreck.
Alright, now, so starting off with the first group, of course, the top 10 list, we'll start off in alphabetical order. The first thing we have to go through is bug types. Now, as you know, bug types are the creepy crawlies that not everybody likes. Missy from Pokemon being one of them, she definitely did not like bug types. It was kind of the running gag throughout the entire series that she just thought they were creepy and icky and ew and personally, though, I enjoy bug types. They're one of my favorite types.
Oh yeah, bugs are pretty cool.
So since there are 18 types total, let's get this started. For my number one, we have Volcarona. Now, Volcarona is a bug fire type. It's a giant moth Pokemon. You can look these things up on Cerebi.net if you want to, in case you're curious. Volcarona is what's known as a Pseudo legendary? I think it's Pseudo legendary. What that means is you can get more than one, but it's very difficult. They're very high level requirements. I think you need to evolve it from a Larvaresta at like level 55 or something like that. It's huge. And Larvaresta is not exactly the best Pokemon to begin with. This big flying Mothra wannabe has capabilities of just wrecking house. Hello, Rebel Vanity 25, and yes, you gotta catch them all. What I like to do is I like to teach my Volcarona a few good moves, but of course it knows Fire Dance, it knows Leech Life, it knows Giga Drain, it knows Quiver Dance. Those are the four I tend to use, and Flame Body, which means if you touch me, I'm gonna burn you. Necro, what's your favorite bug type?
Well, I have a couple of ones before I announce my favorite.
Okay.
Shuckle, Volcarona, and Heracross I like, but there is one that over-trumps them all. Well, technically two, because it's a evolved form as well. You got Seether and
Scythor.
Or Scyther.
and Skeezor.
And Skeezor.
Yeah.
Or Mega Skeezor as well.
Necro's been a fan of Scyther for a while. Now, Scyther is, of course, the Mantis Pokemon. He's got big blades on the front of his hands. He's green. He's fast. His evolutions just made him that much better. The only thing they did is they gave him a 4 times weakness to fire types. However, in Mega form, you're generally too fast for that to even slow you down.
Yep.
I mean, I got plenty of favorites, but I'll save that list for another day. Coming up in the next group are Dark types. Dark types tend to be looked down upon as the sneaky, the evil, the violent, and just looking at some of them, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Dark types are, of course, the cruelest looking of the Pokemon, and evil. Rebel Vanity says, I love Butterfree. He is so cute. Butterfree's a very powerful Pokemon, too, in the right hands. It's capable of running lots of good moves. As far as Dark types are kind of a mixed bag. Dark types tend to be really good against most Pokemon due to their generally powerful stats and the fact that, of course, they're immune to Psychics. However, you get a fighting type in there, and you're just going to wreck house.
Mm-hmm.
My personal favorite is Drapion. Now, Drapion is a dark poison type. Really an evil, nasty guy. Tends to have really high stats in basically every category except special attack. My personal choice is I like to use its ability Sniper, which gives it better chances to use critical attacks. Then combining it with moves like Sword Dance to boost its attack, Earthquake to crush anybody who tries to get in there under the radar, and combined with Cross Poison and Night Slash, stab moves that have high critical chances. Necro, who's your favorite dark?
I'm going with Greninja.
Greninja, dark water type. Greninjas are one of those mixed bag Pokemon because without his hidden ability, he's still a very powerful Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
With his special ability, though, he will actually transform his type into whatever type move he just used. Use Hyper Beam, he becomes a normal type. Use Flamethrower, he becomes a fire type. The big issue with that one is the fact that it also means that he gets a stab bonus from the move he used.
Yep.
But it also opens him up to other weaknesses. If you can predict what he's going to use, since most Greninjas use the same 4 attacks, you can pretty much outspeed him and just hit him with something else that he's going to turn into.
Right.
Not to say that dark types in general are bad types. I'll get to those soon. Next up on the list are the mighty dragon types. Dragon types are always the same category. They're big, they're strong, they're really hard to put down, and they're weak to their own type moves.
Which is very odd.
Which is very odd and very sad at the same time. However, 90% of them are decent enough to be on this list. However, for me, it's kind of different. You see, my number 1 Pokemon was Dragonair. Now, you might know Dragonair as the middle evolution. Dratini, Dragonair, and then that dopey, ugly, dumb-looking motherfucker, Dragonite. I hate Dragonite. He's probably one of my least favorite Pokemon. Give me a Dragonair with an Eviolite any day of the week. I like to use mine as a really annoying Pokemon. Charizard is not a Dragon type, Rebel Vanity. It's a Fire-flying type.
Yep. You're wrong.
Oh, we'll get to him soon, don't worry.
And he's hated.
Anyway, I like to give my Dragonair Dragon Tail to keep my opponent forcibly switching out, Thunder Wave to paralyze every Pokemon in his party, and then a combination of Rest and Snore to heal me up and continue doing damage, and if I'm fast enough, which I usually am, I can flinch my opponent. Nick?
Me, I was stuck between 2, so I'm picking them both.
Okay.
Kingdra.
Good Pokemon. Water Dragon.
And Garchomp.
Garchomp, a ground dragon. Garchomp, of course, being one of the most powerful of dragon types. In fact, if I remember correctly, yep, and number 2 in my list was Kingdra. And number 4 in my list is Garchomp. What are you doing? Get on my lap. They're both really powerful Pokemon that have really great advantages. Garchomp, of course, has a Mega Evolution, which kind of puts him a little stronger than Kingdra, but Kingdra has far fewer weaknesses. I still think to this day that Fairy and Dragon. No, it's only Fairy and Dragon.
Oh yeah, Fairy and Dragon.
Which means it's really hard to put down a Kingdra, and Kingdra's quite bulky.
Yep.
Okay, next up on the list, electric types. Electric types generally are fast Pokemon with really high special attacks. There are a few cases where they're physically stronger than they are specially stronger. But all in all, they seem to fall the same category of being glass cannons. I can hit you like a brick house, but I am also made of paper.
I can hit you like a shit brick house, but you can hit me like one too.
Alright, so Necro, you want to start this one off, or should I?
Well, I'll start off.
Oh no. Kitten, please tell me you're not a Pikachu fan. Oh, -5 Kaiju points to the Kitten of Doom. If she is. But hi, Kitten of Doom, I hope you're feeling better.
She just signed on.
Yep, she's right there. Boop.
Cool. Me, I'm going with somebody a little bit better than Pikachu. Aloha, Raichu. I am gonna surf my tail, bitch.
Yes, when the Aloha region created their new Raichu, they really knew how to put Pikachu where he belonged, in the dirt. The Aloha Raichu has capabilities of being strong in both the electric category and psychic category, as well as having an extremely high special attack stat. This means that he can hit you and hurt you, and I don't believe there are many Pokemon in the game that are resilient to both electric and psychic attacks, giving you a huge level of attack power that you can bring to the field.
Oh yeah.
My personal favorite is a Pokemon known as Electros. He's a kind of a weird eel Pokemon. Now, what he really specializes in is the fact that he has no actual weakness. His special ability Levitate means that you can't hurt him with ground type moves unless you drop him to the ground. Of course, moves
Makes him badass.
right, which of course means moves like Smackdown can bring him down to the ground.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kitten says, I have a stuffed Pika at my house. You've seen it. He's so adorable, and thank you. I'm trying to get better quickly. Well, please, you don't have to get better quickly, but just get better.
Get better.
Well, I mean, I appreciate the fact that she wanted to come out tonight and that she wanted to actually be part of the live stream that we were going to do, but I don't want to risk it. She didn't want to risk it. No one wanted to risk it. But everyone, please wish Kitten to Doom a chance to get better. Because she needs to get better because nothing's worse than a sad kitty.
Yep.
Now, with Elikatros, I like to play the game a little differently. I like to give him an item called Big Root, which actually boosts how much health he gains back from moves that drain health. I then give him Discharge for a powerful electric attack, Drain Punch, which gives him some stab bonus, it gives him some bonuses against other types and heals him, Giga Drain, which also gives him some good bonuses and heals him.
You pretty much just like to heal the fuck out of him.
And Power Up Punch, which boosts his attack power. I like to be very aggressive.
Oh shit, I'm off screen.
Oh, you're not. You're right there. Oh, now you're on screen.
Yeah.
Yay! So next up, we get to the fairy types.
Fairy.
Now, fairy types are a new type. They came out, I believe, Generation 5 or 4. I don't remember which one. Fairy types are well known for somehow being immune to all dragon type attacks. I don't know how. A giant meteor landing from space hits a Clefable in the face and it just laughs at them. I don't know. But fairy types are well known for that, and they're pretty potent Pokemon. Most have very high stats and are very, very hard to hurt. Now, for my number one on the list, I go with Azumarill. Azumarill at one time was actually just a water type, but then they decided to slap the fairy type onto her. Azumarill's special ability is Huge Power. Well, one of them. What this does is it takes its usually low regular attack and doubles it, meaning that it can hit really hard. And yes, she is right. Fairies are awesome. In fact, just a quick rundown, if I were actually going to choose to be a Pokemon type, I would want to be a Steel Fairy. Now, what I like to do with Azumarill is I like to give it Aqua Ring to heal it every turn and leftovers. I make it really bulky, usually really high defense, health, and special defense. Then I give it Power Up Punch. It already hits hard. Power Up Punch just makes it hit harder. Add to that Aqua Tail for Stab Water bonus and Play Rough for Stab Fairy bonus, and I can hit him pretty hard. Okay?
Yeah, I was just seeing
okay.
things that are in here.
How about your favorite fairy type?
My favorite fairy type, I actually have two here.
Throw them out there, buddy.
Mawile.
Mawile, yes, the Steel Fairy type.
And Klefki.
And Klefki, another Steel Fairy type. Klefki's special ability is the fact that it has Prankster, which allows it to use Status Effect moves turn 1. Which means it's faster than like a quick attack. In other words, if I want to say throw some spikes on the ground or get a nasty plot off, I get it that turn. As for our cute and cuddly little Mawile, her special ability doesn't really come out until after you Mega Evolve it. Yes, she does have a Mega form, but she gains access to a move called Huge Power. And once again, as I talked about with Azumarill, this just doubles her already significantly powerful physical damage to a new level. A new ass-kicking level. Alright, after fairy types, I believe we go into fighting. Yes, fighting. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Hua!
Kind of like that.
Fighting types generally are really powerful and tend to be fast Pokemon that are one of the only are the only type of Pokemon that are strong against normal types. They can also bash rock types real good as well. However, they can't touch ghost types, and psychic types just turn them into their own biatches. So, Nick, you want to throw this one out first?
Sure. I like Blaziken.
Ah, Blaziken, or the Blazing Chicken Pokemon, as a lot of people call him.
Or Mega Evolve him as well.
Right. Well, the thing is that Blaziken's real strength doesn't just come from the fact that it's one of the few Pokemon that can learn Flame Kick, but because it has a move called Speed Boost. Yeah. Even its Mega Form has this, and what this basically does is that every single one of its turns, it boosts its speed one level, making it faster and 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 faster
until it becomes faster than Flash.
Right. And because of this, combined with its extremely high attack power and the fact that it's number 2 on my list of favorite fighting types, it is a very potent Pokemon and it's very, very commonly used. However, my personal favorite, and I'm going to butcher the hell out of the name, I know I am, is Hawlucha, or the Luchador Pokemon. Now, Hawlucha looks like a parrot wearing a Luchador mask.
Yep.
Now, it is a flying fighting type, which makes it one of the only fighting types to really have a ton of weaknesses. However, it makes it up with what it can do. Now, with mine, I like to give it Limber so it can't be paralyzed. On top of that, I like to give it Roost for healing, Acrobatics for a stab flying move, Drain Punch to heal it, but then the special ability. You see, Hawlucha has the special ability, a special move called Flying Press. Now, what Flying Press does is it acts as both a fighting type and a flying type move. Which means if you're weak to either one of them, it's going to smash you hard. And if you're weak against both of them, well, he can one-hit you. I've had my Hawlucha one-hit plenty of Pokemon before.
Now, me as a person that used to like wrestling and was a big advocate of it, I think the design is amazing of the Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
It is spot on and did not make it look too human, but put it in a good aspect that you knew what it was.
Right. I fully understand what you're saying there, because it does kind of make it look enough where you can be like, oh, I can see that being a wrestler.
Yeah.
Next up comes to one of the types that I actually just really, really dislike. Fire types. And the reason I think it is because I think that it's because my favorite Pokemon are water types, which trump fire types.
Right.
Now, that being said, a lot of people want me to say the list that they want me to say Charizard. No.
Never. You can burn in the depths of
No. And I know I'm going to catch flack for it. I know I'm going to catch flack for the fact that I say that Charizard is actually one of my least favorite fire types. But he is. He should have been a fire dragon type. The game should have just made him a fire dragon type. Instead, they gave him a fire flying type, which makes him 4x weak to rock types, which in the original game was what most people had on their teams. Yo, Geodude. But for fire types, I gotta say, this is actually one of the few times where a 7th gen Pokemon reaches the top of the list for me. For me, it's a Pokemon called Salazzle.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Sorry, I'm dealing with puppy.
All right, we have Juggernaut Jared's in the group, and also JV Slayer.
That's Brandon.
All right. No Charizard. Blaziken, yes, that was actually Necro's favorite right there. Ponyta's nice. Rapidash is better, personally. But thing is that Salazzle is a brand new Pokemon. Just came out in Sun and Moon, and Salazzle has a very unusual evolutions field. You see, if you catch its under evolution, and it's male, it will never become Salazzle. Salazzle can only be evolved if it was a female that you caught.
Yep.
It also has the special move called Corrosion. Now what this does is it allows it to poison types and steel types, which means you can actually toxic Muck. I don't know how that is, seeing as Muck is literally, in the description, a living embodiment of poison and disease, but I can make it toxic. With my Salazzle, I like to give it a series of moves. I like to give it Leftovers for the healing. I like to give it Sludge Bomb and Flamethrower for the stab bonuses, of course. I like to give it Toxic so I can toxic everything in sight. And I enjoy Leech Life so I can give it a little bit of health back. Acid Waste. Ninetales. Ninetales isn't bad. Necro, what do you have next? What's your fire type?
My fire type, I mean, I had 3 choices, but I did narrow it down to 2, so I'm going to throw out 2 honorable mentions. One we already mentioned, Blaziken.
Okay.
But that was part of my fighting. Another one is Infernape.
Infernape.
Or Infernape.
Okay, cool.
I am a big fan of him. But my dear loyal Arcanine wins out.
Arcanine, also known as the legendary Pokemon. Arcanine existed in Pokemon Red, I believe, because I believe Pokemon Blue had Ninetales. Or the other way around. Anyways, Arcanine is a big, bulky Pokemon, and the very first Pokemon to learn the move Extreme Speed, which is really, really a super fast, powerful version of Quick Attack that will just belt you across the face. So, everybody, we've now come to flying types. Now, I gotta stop you right now and say that this is the only time in the list where I have a legendary as my number 1. In fact, this is also the only time in my favorites list where I have a legendary. So, without further ado, my number 1 flying type is Rayquaza. Rayquaza, the Flying Dragon type. Rayquaza, the demon himself. Rayquaza, the only Pokemon in the game that does not require a Mega Stone to Mega Evolve. Now, Rayquaza is a belt Pokemon who has amazing stats and is just destructive. He has the Airlock ability, which automatically stops any form of weather. And in order to have him evolve into his Mega Evolution, you just have to give him one move, which is one of the most powerful Flying-type moves in the game, Dragon Ascent.
Yep.
Now, once he gets Dragon Ascent and becomes Mega Rayquaza, as some people would say, he gains access to a new ability, which basically takes all weaknesses away from Flying types. Which really means that Rayquaza is only weak to Dragon and Ice types.
Yep.
Add Dragon Claw for a powerful hit, Extreme Speed for a smash just in case you need to take an opponent out fast, Sword Dance to boost his already extraordinary high attack, and a Shell Bell so every time he damages the opponent, some of that damage is restored to you, and you have a Pokemon that's really just can't get put down. Necro. He's already bored. He's already bored, folks. Look at him. He's already yawning.
Gyarados. My tried and true Gyarados.
Gyarados, the Water Flying type, which probably should have been a Water Dragon type.
I do agree with that.
Gyarados has access to a Mega Evolution, which somehow changes him into a Water Dark type. Why not a Water Dragon type, since he's based off of the Chinese dragon mythology,
Yep.
where if a carp jumped over a certain waterfall, it would transform into a dragon? I don't know what Game Freak was thinking. They're fail-tendo. Anyway, what he has on his side, though, is he has access to Intimidate, which means if he's brought out, he automatically weakens an opponent's attack 1 level. Juggernaut says Tornadus, which is another legendary Pokemon, which is pretty good. Gyarados has access to a ton of super powerful attacks, and unless you hit him with a lightning attack, it's really hard to put him down.
Yep.
Or electric attack, sorry. Blah, 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 blah.
Lightning electric, same difference.
Right. Okay, moving from flying to the undead, Necro Nick is going to bring us favorite ghost types.
Yes. For mine, I have 3.
Okay, of course.
Miss Magius.
Miss Megaeus, yep, good one.
Garlock. Or Garlock.
Gordalock,
Garlock.
the ghost ground type.
And my last.
Golurk, sorry.
And my last, and as far as I know on my list, the only legendary that I have, Spiritomb.
Spiritomb. Battlefield Brennan says Dusk Noir, which is actually a really potent Pokemon as well. Spiritomb is a legendary Pokemon. I know a lot of people like to say he's not, but those people can go soak their heads. The reason
why he is a legendary is for one factor. You can only catch one.
Right, and you can only do it by meeting 108 people in the underground passage, which took forever. It did. However, for a time, he was also known as the only Pokemon that had no weakness. Being that he was a Ghost Dark type, you really couldn't touch him, and he had access to a lot of very potent and powerful moves. Now, for me, I actually go pretty old school with this one. My favorite of the Ghost type Pokemon is Gengar.
Gengar!
Now, not just because of Mega Evolution Gengar. I don't use Mega Gengar.
But he is quite powerful.
Mimikyu is one of my favorite Ghost types. Don't say that. Don't say that, Juggernaut. He's actually in my list too. I think I have him under my favorite Fairy types though. Rotom Original, yes, he's an Electric Ghost type. He's powerful too. Gengar here is a Ghost Poison type. In fact, the original Ghost type, because I forgot there were no other Ghost types in the game.
Right.
It went from Ghastly to Haunter to Gengar, but you can only get Gengar through trading with a friend or cheating. I found a way to do it, and I cheated my ass off. I like to play my Gengar differently. I like to play him as more of a supporting character who uses sleep abilities. I like to give him Curse, so he can remove half his health and put a really nasty dot on you. I like to use Hypnosis and Dream Eater to heal him up, and I like to use Nightmare while you're asleep. I also like the fact that he can use Leftovers, and that the effect of Cursed Body means every time you attack him, there's a chance it will disable that move so you can't hit him again with it.
Very nice, right?
Now, going from Ghost types, we're going to jump to another one of my favorite types, Grass types. Grass types. What more is there to say except there's probably more Grass types in the game than there should be.
Yeah.
Grass types are very potent, have some of the most annoying, overrated, and devastating abilities in the frickin' game. This includes moves like Leech Seed, Spore, and of course, Everyone's most hated move of all time, to give the Ninetales, of course, Solar Beam. Now, it's not to say that they're not good Pokemon. Grass types are great. They can wreck a rock, they can freaking weed down a water type, but they're barbecued by fire types and eaten by bug types. Brandon says he likes Roserade, which was a grass poison type. Great Pokemon as well because it knows Poison Touch. You want to start this one, buddy?
Sure.
What's your favorite grass type?
I'll go with Chestnut.
Chestnut. Chestnut is a grass fighting type whose ability, Bulletproof, makes him immune to a lot of attacks. Rebel Vanity says Bulbasaur, I don't know how to spell. And actually, you just missed an A after the S. You almost had it correct. So don't feel bad about that. Bulbasaur's a nice one. Is full evolved form. I think is one of the most ridiculous looking Pokemon. But Venusaur's also really strong.
Yes.
Now, personally, for me, once again, I go old school with one of my all-time favorite Pokemon, and one of the few fossil Pokemon I actually liked. It's called Cradily. Cradily is a rock grass type that you have to get and Rosalia, of course, for Juggernaut. Where was I? Oh, Cradily is a fossil Pokemon that you'd have to pick the root fossil in Red and Blue. Now, it became this little thing, and then evolved into this big tentacle horror. The thing about Cradily is that it has access to a lot of very potent moves and is very, very bulky, very hard to hurt. I like to give mine a rocky helmet because of how bulky it is, so you'll hurt yourself hitting it. I like to give it Storm Drain so water attacks won't affect it. And then I give it Ancient Power for the chance to get the boost, Giga Drain to heal it, and Recover to heal it, and Stockpile so I can boost my defense and special defense to the point where people just hate me in general. So, from the grass types, we're moving on. Look, we're doing pretty good. We're already at ground types, and we're only about a half hour in.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on to another type that I'm hit and miss with. Ground types. I think it's because of how much I really was annoyed by Diglett Cave that I hate ground types, but that's just a personal thing. Ground types are the only Pokemon in the game that are strong against electric types, making them kind of like the fighting to normal type Pokemon. Their real advantage is the fact that they're a split bag. You're either really fast or really bulky. Brandon says Rhyperior. Rhyperior is a big, bulky ground rock type who can really take a beating and dish one back out. So I'm going to start with this one. Once again, going old school with one of the Pokemon that helped me win the original Elite Four, Nidoking. Nidoking's a poison ground type, basically a bulky wall. I could have put Nidoqueen here and swapped them back and forth, but they're basically in the same category. So Nidoqueen, Nidoking, same category. Now I like to be a setup Pokemon with him. I like to give him leftovers, Poison Point for a chance for you to poison yourself, Dragon Tail to knock you around, Earthquake for stab, and then I like to throw Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes around so I can damage and poison everybody that I Dragon Tail. I'm evil when it comes to him. I'm sorry. Necro, your favorite ground types?
I'm going with Donphan.
Donphan.
Yeah, Donphan.
Donphan.
And also Glacier.
Gliscor.
Yeah.
Stunfisk for Juggernaut, not a bad Pokemon, ground electric. Ugly looking Pokemon though, I mean like, ugly looking Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm going with my elephant, my glacier looking.
Donphan's a pure ground type and one of the few Pokemon in the series that came at that time who knew Rollout, which was a move that everyone who had played against that gym hated. Hitmonchan? Oh, she's still talking. Oh, she's still talking about the fighting types. Rebel Vandy says Hitmonchan's her favorite ground type, fighting type. I mean, Donphan was a nice Pokemon, and then of course Gliscor is basically another one of those Pokemon that's really hard to kill due to the fact that it has so many good combinations. I mean, it knows a lot of moves: poison types, ground types, fire types. It knows a lot of moves.
Oh yeah.
From ground to ice. Now, ice is one of those categories where there's not a lot of good Pokemon. Ice types are brittle. They don't hit very hard. Not a lot of things are weak to them. They're really not a standout type, but they do have their specials. They do have their strengths, and they definitely have their weaknesses. But as far as ice types go, I actually enjoyed a newer Pokemon. It is the Aloha form of Sandslash.
Yes.
Now, this is an ice steel type, which means if it's hit by a fire attack, it is a goner.
Mm-hmm.
But statistically, other than its special attack and speed, it has massive stats. I like to give mine an Icy Rock to keep Hail going extra turns and use Hail. That combined with its Snow Cloak ability allows it to...
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Snow Cloak allows... Oh boy, I'm catching a cold. No, okay, anyways. It allows him to boost his evasion during snow. Combine that with Ice Ball for basically a rollout effect. It's Gyro Ball because he's slow as hell and any Pokemon's going to be faster than him. Leech Life to give him some extra HP, and Hail to cause the snowstorm. Brandon says Cloyster, which is one of my favorite water types, a water ice type, and Regice, which is a very, very powerful and very hard to kill legendary. Necro, what's your favorite ice type?
I'm going with Weavile.
Weavile?
Weavile.
Ah, Weavile.
And also, I'm going to agree with Brandon with the Glacier.
Gleister, yep. No one else is allowed to get sick. Cut it out. Dang it, kitten! It was a joke. It was catch me cold ice types.
I'm definitely going with old school one there.
Well, here's the thing. Cloyster is very potent and it knows Skill Link. Weavile, on the other hand, is very fast, very powerful, and a dark ice type, which gives us access to a whole series of very, very nasty, evil, and mean abilities. Trust me, last thing you want is a high-level Weavile ripping you to shreds. Now, from the ice types, we come to one of my all-time favorite types. You see, time for a flashback montage. Back when I was in the 8th grade, while ago, Pokemon Blue had just come out. So what happened is me and a bunch of my friends, a lot of people in the school were playing the Pokemon game. And what we would do is we had 8 people walking around being gym leaders and 4 people being the what were the Final Four, or the Fantastic Four,
Final
Elite Four. Elite Four. There it is. Oh wow, brain tumor. And what that did was people would come up to me like, I want to challenge you to a Pokemon game at lunch. So I was the normal gym leader, and I would often stomp people with my Pokemon. Now that embarrassing story out of the way, since I'm currently 33. My number 1 Pokemon for the normal types is Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan was an annoying pastor. She took me forever to catch in the Safari Zone, and if I would have known what she was going to become, I would have kept her a lot longer. Kangaskhan has the ability to Mega Evolve into Mega Kangaskhan, which is one of the weirdest Mega Evolutions ever, because all that happens is I'm going to call it Joey, that's in her pouch, jumps out and helps her fight. She gains a move called Parental Bond, where every time she does an attack, the little one will also do an attack at 50% the damage. Brandon says Regigigas. Now, I would agree with him if it weren't for the fact that Regigigas has one of the worst special abilities in the game. This move is called Slow Start.
Yep.
What this does is it basically crumbles the attack and speed half, making it all but useless for the first 5 turns. Afterwards, it's going to crush you, but for those first 5 turns, it's going to die. Juggernaut says Ditto. Yeah, Ditto. I don't really have anything negative to say about it, because I never really used Ditto as anything but breeding bait. Yeah, Ditto is everyone's whore. The Ditto is the dime store whore of the Pokemon. Every Pokemon Center should just have a Ditto there automatically.
Yeah.
Now, Kangaskhan has an ability called Early Bird, which means if it's put to sleep, it actually wakes up way faster. Now, once you Mega Evolve and get Parental Bond, then the special abilities really start to kick up. I like to give it moves like Crunch, which has a chance to lower your opponent's defense, Crush Claw, which is a stab move and has a chance to lower your opponent's defense, Power Up Punch, which will boost your attack power. However, with Parental Bond, you'll actually hit twice, which means you'll boost your attack power twice. And I finish it up with Drain Punch, which also gives it health twice, making it really hard to kill my Kangaskhan. Necro.
I'm gonna pick an old and but good and a pseudo-legendary. Name Snorlax.
Ah, you mean my number 2?
Yes.
Snorlax. Originally a legendary, but now a legendary. Snorlax is the big fat town.
He's the one that blocked your fucking path.
Every time. Snorlax's biggest advantage, of course, is that he has 2 abilities. One is Thick Fat, which halves the damage from fire and ice type moves towards him. But he also has Immunity, which makes him just straight up immune to any type of poisoning. This is really quite potent, seeing as he has a giant HP pool. He also has access to rest, which means he can just cure everything else you've done to him.
Yep.
Snorlax is also my number 2 on my list. Alright, from normal types, we go to another one of my all-time favorite types, Poison. Oh, Poison types. How they really, really wrecked you in the very first game, but then made you stronger and stronger and stronger since. The biggest advantage Poison types have is the fact that they are really potent against Bug types, and one of the few Pokemon that's very strong against Fairy types. I guess the whole Poison Apple idea from Cinderella or Snow White or something. Anyway. Toxicroak, yes, I enjoy Toxicroak. Toxicroak is a fighting Poison type, and has very few weaknesses. 4x weakness to Psychic type, so you gotta hit it with a Dark type move quick. Now, Necro, what is your favorite Poison type?
Sneasel.
You mean Salazzle.
Salazzle.
Ah. We've already spoken about Salazzle, so if you want to know about it, you just gotta go inch back a little back to our Fire types to see what I said. For me, I once again go old school on this one, and it's only because of what happens after he got his Mega Evolution. See, originally I chose Squirtle. I liked Squirtle. Squirtle was a great Pokemon. But after some time, I tried a game out as Bulbasaur. And then I found out who Venusaur was. That's my number 1, Venusaur. Venusaur is a potent Pokemon, capable of just taking a lot of abuse. But when it became Mega Venusaur, that's when it really started to say F you to everybody else. See, it gains access to Thick Fat, which I mentioned earlier. Seeing as Venusaur is weak to both Ice types and Fire types, Thick Fat makes it really, really hard to hurt it. I like to run mine with Giga Drain to heal it, Sludge Bomb for stab damage, Earthquake to surprise opponents, and of course the Mighty Leech Seed to give me even more healing power. Juggernaut says Muck. The question I gotta ask you is, are you talking about original Muck, or are you talking about Alola Muck? And Brandon also says Vileplume. Vileplume and Venusaur used to be like this with me, but now that there's a Mega Venusaur, there's quite a gap now.
Yep.
But I gotta say, Vileplume is pretty strong. Necro, your Grass type.
You mean Poison?
Or Poison, yeah, sorry.
You did mine first.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys, sorry. I'm me, y'all know who I am. Now we're gonna throw another one out here, Psychic types. Psychic types were one of the originally broken Pokemon, because back in the original 2 games, there was no special defense slot or special attack slot. It was just special. Which means every Psychic type Pokemon was just impossible to kill without physical attacks.
Yep.
He's talking about Alola Muck, which was a dark Poison type. Cool. Now, Psyduck. Oh, Psyduck. Psyduck originally starts off as... What was his original? Oh, no, there was Psyduck. Psyduck. However, Psyduck himself was a water type, and so was Golduck. They just learned Psychic type attacks. I don't know why they never slapped Psychic on them. It would have made them so much stronger.
Yep.
However, for my number 1, it is a water Psychic type. I enjoy Slowbro. Slowbro, the water Psychic type with the really annoyingly large amount of hit points, defenses, and special attacks, who is slow as hell. Now, I could say a lot about Slowbro, seeing as it gains access to moves like, oh man, what is it called? Not Contrary. Hang on, I got the list right here. It gains access to moves like Oblivious, so it just ignores your Pokemon stats, and Regenerator, so if you swap him in and out, he heals. But he also gains access to Own Tempo, which means he can't be confused. Brandon says Slowking. Slowking is strong. However, Mega Slowbro has that guy beat. And Juggernaut asks me, do I look a little drowsy? Be quiet or I'm going to start being hypno on you. Mega Slowbro is just an all-out beast. It takes everything that made Slowbro annoying and just beefs it up. Even if you hit it with a really powerful electric type attack, it really just bounces off him. With my Slowbro, I like to give him Scald for a chance to burn you, Yawn for a chance to put you to sleep, Dream Eater to suck you away, and Calm Mind just to keep boosting my already potent abilities. However, if I know my opponent is going to be bringing something to the table that I just can't beat, sometimes I'll switch out Scald for Water Pulse for a chance to confuse them. Necro, psychic me up.
Mew.
Another legendary on the list. Mew is the original troll Pokemon. I'll admit it, I was one of the people that tried pushing the truck. He wasn't under it. I used Dynamite. It wasn't under it. If it was, I blew it up. It might explain what the blood was. Mew is known as the original Pokemon, the originator Pokemon, but then they brought around the god of all Pokemon, and then the Pokemon that controls space and time, and then they brought the Pokemon that controls hell, and I don't know where Mew fits anymore. Mew's greatest advantage is the fact that it can learn a lot of different attacks, okay? But build that with the fact that it has great stats, and it's really hard not to like Mew. He's also freaking adorable. Arceus. Arceus is the freaking god of Pokemon, apparently. And just no. Just no. Okay, now for another group that's kind of hit and miss, the rock types. Once again, rock types are weak against water and grass types, which are two of my favorite types, which kind of puts them at odds with me. However, there are a couple really worthwhile Pokemon. Once again, I seem to feel like I'm going back in time here with all the old school Pokemon. My number one on this list is, of course, Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is that well-known rock flying type that you can get to level 255 if you know how to glitch the game. See, slight trick in case you ever want to play red, blue, or yellow again is to go up and down Cinnabar Island. Eventually you'll run into a Pokemon named Missingo. Now, of course, you have to go through a whole list of glitches to get this to work, but trust me, it's worth it. Now, Missingo is a weird one. It's just really just throw a Master Ball at him if you can. However, what Missingo's specialist is the fact that if you give it a rare candy, it will become a level 255 Aerodactyl. Statistically, there's nothing stopping that. I'm sorry. I win. However, let's see here. Juggernaut says Lycanroc, which is a newer rock-type Pokemon. Nice one. I like to give my Aerodactyl leftovers. I like to teach it Stone Edge and Fly. I give it Double Edge because it has Rock Head, so it can't be hurt. And I like to give it Roost to heal. Now, there's also the Mega version, but I avoid Megas like the plague if I can. Necro, throw a rock at me.
The right gun.
At least move into the camera.
Hi.
There you go. Now make your threats.
There ain't none. Okay.
Juggernaut, or Brandon, Heatran is a Steel Fire type. It's not a rock type.
Okay, so I am going with Blue, Cabostas, or
Can I see that real quick? Can you see this real quick? The hell? Rock. Golem.
Well, yeah, I said that first.
You said Gloom.
Oh, sorry.
Golem, Gigalith, Kabutops, and Tyranitar.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are all good rock-type Pokemon. Of course, Golem is actually my least favorite, so, I mean, that's the first time that's happened so far on this list. But they're all bulky. That's the thing about rock types. All rock types are bulky. You could... Really hard to hurt them unless you are a fighting type, or a steel type, water type, grass type. Just had really high attack power. Knew any one of those moves. Yeah. That's the thing that sucks about rock types. Rock ice types are probably the worst there are. Now we've gone over the rock types, so we're getting close to the bottom of the list, but we're not done yet, folks. We're not done by a while. Next up, we have steel types. Steel types. If there was ever a Pokemon type in the game that they didn't need to bring into the game, it's steel types. Steel types are another bulky, try to hurt me if you can Pokemon, but this time they come with the added advantage of not being able to be poisoned. Completely immune to poison types. Not weak to water, but weak to fire for some reason. You know, water does rust them, but, you know... Brandon's bringing out Aggron. Yeah, Aggron's a big, bulky sucker. And he's got a Mega Form, too. Now, the thing about steel types is they're all basically the same type. They're really hard to kill. From the weakest steel type to the strongest steel type, unless you have the particularly right Pokemon against them, they're going to outlast you. Now, for my favorite steel type, I'm going straight up with Metagross. Metagross might as... What?
You're talking about Baltimore. So.
Oh, okay. Metagross might as well be a freaking legendary Pokemon for how strong it is. Turn it into Mega Metagross, and you're not even joking anymore. As a Steel Psychic type with access to Clear Body, which means you just can't lower its stats. Throw some leftovers on him, and he's really hard to kill. Bulk up his health, bulk up his special defense. Give him Meteor Mash and Zen Headbutt for their bonuses towards Steel and Psychic repeatedly. Power Up Punch to boost its already astounding power. And then give it Double Team to make it really hard to hit. Juggernaut says Reggie Steel, which is the third of the Reggies. We've said all the Reggies but Reggie Rock. What, is there no love for Reggie Rock? Actually, there's no love for any of the Reggies if you ask me, but that's just me. Now, Steel types are, of course, one of the newer types, so there's not nearly as many of them. But they're there, and they're not going to stop anytime soon. Now, the last of the types is, of course, water types. I love water types. This was the hardest list for me to make because water types are just one of my absolute favorite Pokemon. They're really hard to hurt unless you have a grass or an electric. They have some really nasty moves. They added Scald, which can burn you. They added Water Pulse, which can confuse you. They have access to Dive. They have access to Waterfall. You need them in every game because they all know Surf. It's just really hard not to have a team without a water type on it. The old forgotten Relincanth. Oh, Relincanth, the Coelacanth Pokemon. He's not forgotten. He's got Rock Head. And he looks like a giant swimming penis. But anyway, with water types, I had to make this list, and it was very painful. Especially since I'm looking at my list right now and realizing that a lot of them are Gen 7s now. However, my number one is not a Gen 7. The hardest fucking type of Pokemon to get a hold of. The Phoebus evolution itself, Milotic. Now, in order to get Milotic, oh boy, you had to find one of the 6 squares in the game. Wishy-Washy's pretty cool. Yeah, Jared, you're right. He's a beast. But you had to find one of the 6 squares in the game that you could fish for a Phoebus, which is just an ugly suitcase-looking Pokemon. It's useless. It's garbage. Then, you had to boost its beauty score by going to Pokemon contests and feeding it berries, which already makes you just hate the game even more. And then it evolved into Milotic, and everything was good with the world. Milotic is a beautiful sea serpent Pokemon, which is capable of performing many a nasty trick on you. I like to give mine a Flame Orb to actually burn it, so it activates its ability Marvel Scale, which boosts its special or its regular defense. What's its special defense? Let me double check that one real quick. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Nope, it boosts its defense by 1.5 times. Now, the thing that really makes this Pokemon evil is that it has access to Recover and Aqua Ring. Aqua Ring will automatically make sure that the burn effect doesn't actually do any damage to you because you'll heal it, and Recover heals 50% of your HP every time you use it. I add the water ability Scald to weaken your attack and burn you, along with Icy Wind, which will actually lower the opponent's speed. Necro, what is your water type coming to the field?
I'm going with a tried and true that got me through a lot of hard times back in the red and blue times, and that's called Blastoise.
Ah, Blastoise, the giant water turtle Pokemon. I believe he's the tortoise Pokemon, maybe.
I believe so.
But anyways, Blastoise is an amazing Pokemon. He's like the opposite of Koopa. He's a big bipedal turtle with a tail and an annoying habit of blowing people up, but he uses giant freaking water cannons, which in his Pokedex say can punch through the steel of a battleship. That's not cool. You don't want to say, hey, could you go water my lawn with a Pokemon like that around?
No.
The other thing is it has a Mega Form. But they royally screwed it. They gave it a really useless ability, which, if I remember correctly, Clawitzer has, I believe. Hang on a second, let me look this ability up. I believe it's called Aura Cannon. Let me just see. Anything goes. Primal Kyruga. Oh, that's just cheating, Brandon. That's just cheating. Mega Launcher. That's it. Now, what Mega Launcher does is Mega Launcher gets moves that have the word Pulse and makes them extremely powerful, which is all well and good. It makes a lot of Pulse moves strong. I want you to remember the word Pulse. Because while it does have access to all the Pulse moves, only one of the Pulses is actually a water type. And it's not even a powerful type. Aqua Pulse or Water Pulse is a decent move. According to this, it has 60 power. And of course, a Mega Blastoise is already a strong Pokemon. but 60 power still only makes it 90 power.
Yep.
If you add the mega to it, I'm just gonna look it up real quick. Mega. Add the mega to it, it only increases it by another 0.5, so it's basically 120 power. That sounds like a lot, but then you look at the other pulse attacks and realize they're also just as strong. So even with a Blastoise, with its special ability, it would just make all 3 pulses the same strength, even with the same attack bonus, which is not fair to him. I think he could have had Primal Kyogre's ability. Or hell, you could have given him Drizzle. Let's turn those water attacks into super strong ultimate breaking attacks. Or perhaps some way to get rid of his most annoying weaknesses, electric and grass. Because unfortunately Blastoise really only has the ability to get rid of one of them. He has ice attacks that can get rid of grass. But he does not have anything to take care of the other. So, that's from bug types to water types, our favorites. And so keep mentioning in the comments what your favorites are. But as a secondary note, I'd also like to go down another list for you. Real quick, these are my because unfortunately Necro did not have the time yet. But I'm actually going to go down my least favorite Pokemon and why real quick. So I'm going to start off with bug types, and that Pokemon is Shuckle. I don't give a fuckle about Shuckle. There, I said it. Shuckle is one of those Pokemon that has a lot of defense, a lot of special defense, and nothing else going for it. I know you like Shuckle, but he sucks. Shuckle has no way of healing himself, is weak to several types of attacks, has very low health. Toxic will kill him almost instantaneous. Burn will murder him real quick. He's just all around a really, really, really hard Pokemon to use. Why did my software stop recording? Hang on a second. What the hell? Oh, there it goes. No, it wasn't. Never mind. It just said it stopped recording. Damn it. And I just really don't like him. His design is stupid. He looks like a pizza that you left out too long. Ditto is greater than Shuckle. You're right there, Juggernaut. And Shed Ninja. Shed Ninja is pretty good. Unless, of course, you're talking about your... Are you talking about your favorites or least favorites now, Brandon? For dark types, I don't like Skunk Tank. It had a lot going for it. It was a skunk. But they didn't work it in well. I don't know. His design is stupid. His moveset is stupid. His stats are stupid. One of his saving graces, he can learn Flamethrower. I mean, look at this. Look at this picture down here, Necro. Look at this. Look at this. This is what he looks like. His tail's covering his eyes. He's blind as it is. Oh, Rebel, we're going to have some problems here, sweetheart. Chandelure is one of my favorite Pokemon. How dare you? For Dragon types, I have to go with Hydragian, or whatever you want to call it, which was a Dark Dragon type. Hydragian just disappointed me. He could have been so much more. He looks awesome.
Oh, yeah.
He hits like a brick shithouse. His abilities levitate. He's a Dark Dragon type, which means he has a crap ton of weaknesses. Oh, he's just... Brandon's just spitballing here. Next up is my least favorite Electrics.
Pikachu!
His name is frickin' Pikachu, folks. Get over it. He is a useless Pokemon. I don't know, Rebel. I think you'd like it. It looks like a chandelier from a spooky house. You just give off that kind of vibe like you'd like it. But Pikachu, on the other hand, has been so overused. I get sick sometimes. I mean, when Subliminal comes around dressed up like him, that's not so bad. But Pikachu is just so overused, and Raichu is just so much better. Especially since Aloha form Raichu is so much better than that. Ash, just give up your fucking Pikachu and get something better already, okay? There's plenty of Pokemon out there. Now for Fairy types. And the problem with Fairy types is there's not a lot of them I actually dislike. Fairy types are fun. Leave Pika alone. He is no use as he is an awesome companion. He tried to kill Ash in the first episode.
If you want to go Pikachu, go get the one from Yellow. That's the only one that's allowed.
Yeah. Okay. So, Gilbit The last evolution for Gilbite. That's Garchomp! How dare you? And Electric, Voltorb and Electrode. Oh man, you really need to. First of all, you two need to see what a Aloha form Pikachu looks like. Go ahead, take a second, go look at how cute and adorable he is. And then come back and... What? Raichu. Go look at Aloha form Raichu and tell me how cute he is, and then you tell me Pikachu's better. I can wait a few minutes. But until we get to that point, we're going to talk about my least favorite fairy type. Its name is Florges. Florges is a great Pokemon. It is. It's got amazing stats, great abilities, great attacks. The problem is, it looks like a flower type, gains some flower type moves, like they couldn't just make it a freaking grass fairy type? Even its special abilities are all based on grass types. Was it Symbiosis? If an ally uses its item, this Pokemon gives its item to the ally, which makes it great for double battles. But Flower Veil says this side's grass types can have their stats lowered or status inflicted by other Pokemon. Which would be great if it was a grass type. It's designed for double battles, and there's not a lot of them. Fighting types for me goes to a little guy known as Hitmontop. Hitmontop is just such a derpy looking Pokemon. His special ability is spinning around on his head. It just zzz, and it does spin kicks, and I know for some strange reason it was supposed to be like Kaparitsu or something like that, but it just looks like... it's just so stupid. Its attacks suck. It's got horrible stats. Get it away from me. I'm changing the screen. Pichu is greater than Pikachu. You go, Brendan. Now for a moment where I might catch some hatred here. My least favorite fire type.
Your fucking flying douchebag of fire sucks! Charizard!
Thank you. And it's Charizard, not Charizard. Don't give it any kind of advantages.
Charizard, sorry.
The problem with Charizard is much like Pikachu, it was overhyped. The problem with that is...
Just because Red had an amazing one doesn't mean every fucking other one was.
Statistically, they suck.
Exactly.
They have a lot of weaknesses, and they needed 2 Mega Evolutions to pull them out of the hole. Moving on to flying types. A lot of you may not know him because of how useless he is, but his name is Archeops. Now, statistically, if you were to look at Archeops' stats, you'd say, this rock flying type's amazing. Has great move pool, great amount of abilities.
Is he the one that looks pretty cool, like, colorful?
He's very colorful, yeah.
Okay.
But his problem is he's got a move called Defeatist. It's the only special move he has. And when he loses half his health, his special attack and special attack and regular attack are halved.
Oh, wow.
Making him absolutely useless if he takes a bad hit. Enough said. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to read this out to you folks so you can see this. So, Kitten of Doom writes down, let me explain. The reason I love Pika so much is because his personality reminds me of mine. Cute and cuddly, but a jerk. Then a good friend who would do anything for her friends. So are you trying to say that you think of Pikachu like he's a Sour Patch Kid from those commercials? First he's sweet, then he's sour, but he's always your friend? Brandon says his least favorite psychic is Chime Bell, which is correct. I will get to that one, don't worry. Now here's a tough one, ghost types. I actually like most ghost types. Most ghost types have a special place in my heart. However, Gourgeist is not one of them. Gourgeist looks like it's trying to pull itself out of a jack-o'-lantern that it got its fat butt stuck in. Gourgeist is a useless ghost grass type whose special abilities are even more useless. It has Pickup, which means it has a chance to find Pokemon or find items. It has Frisk, which tells you what item your opponent's holding. It has Insomnia, which means it can't fall asleep. By the way, one of the best ways to heal a Pokemon is a move called Rest. He can't use it. On top of all that, he's just statistically drained. He's a horrible Pokemon. And design-wise, well, like I said, he looks like he got his fat ass stuck in a frickin' jack-o'-lantern and can't pull it out. Pardon the language. I have hate issues for these guys. Or as I've put it before, I have hate boners for these Pokemon. As for grass types, its name is Tropius. Dear Lord, they could have done so much more with Tropius. Tropius is an awesome-looking grass flying type. It looks like a brontosaurus with grass wings and some bananas underneath its neck where it could probably eat them. Now, don't get me wrong, it has some decent abilities and it has some decent moves. Appearance-wise, it looks amazing, but just statistically and gameplay-wise, if you put one on your team, it's going to be destroyed every time. Just don't get it. Ground types. Okay, Brandon has so much hate for the Oddish line. Ground types, it would really be easier for me to put a list of ground types that I do like up instead of the ones I hate because of so many of them. But for me, it's a Pokemon known as Crocodile. Now, Crocodile is this cool-looking crocodile Pokemon, but it's a ground dark. This means it has so many weaknesses.
Yep.
And it doesn't have access to really good stats. I mean, it's fast and has decent attack power, but it's going to get dropped by anything. It's really that weak. Ice types. If there's one ice type I've hated more than anything in the world, it's Abomasnow. This is one of the biggest letdown Pokemon ever. He looks amazing. He's strong looking. He's got good stats.
Just like the president.
But he's got more weaknesses than I do at an anime convention.
He fails as much as the president did.
A single fire attack, a fighting type move, earthquake. Seismitoad's a pretty bad Pokemon too, Jared. I don't doubt that. He's pretty. Oh, he's. Oof.
Did they come out at the same time?
Actually, I think they came out in the same gen. That might make sense.
No, I meant the president, not Pokemon.
Yeah, it might have. That would explain it. Now, for normal types, I could give you a list because normal types are the biggest list in the game of Pokemon that can ruin your day. But this is going back to a complaint I had old school, and they never fixed it until now. And the way they fixed it hurts my brain. There was a Pokemon called Lickitung, which was just basically a pink dinosaur like Yoshi thing with a gigantic tongue that was supposed to be like 8 times the size of its body. It couldn't learn the move Lick. Lick a tongue. Couldn't learn Lick. Growlithe couldn't learn Growl. I don't know why. I can't figure it out. However, their way of fixing this horrifically pink monster was given an evolution called Licky. That's the actual Pokemon. Licky. It's got a Pompadour helmet, or hairdo. It's gotten fatter, and its tongue got smaller. But hey, it can learn Lick. Jeez, I haven't been this disappointed since I found out they're making another Resident Evil movie. Poison types. Another group that I have a love for. I love a lot of poison types. But Garbodor is not one of them. And no, it has nothing to do with the fact that he looks like a ripped bunch of garbage out of a bag. That's what he's supposed to look like. He starts off as this cute little adorable garbage bag, and then becomes Mickey Mouse after he's had a bender. According to Brandon, he also doesn't like Skitty. That's understandable. Skitty's not the best Pokemon. Garbodor has nothing going for him. In fact, I would take Skuntank over Garbodor. Garbodor has horrible stats, horrible moves, horrible abilities.
He's just horrible.
He was one of those Pokemon that said, quick, we need like 2 more Pokemon, think of something, and some guy goes, I was taking out my garbage yesterday and I ripped the bag. Gold and make it. Now for the moment Brandon's been waiting for. Chingling. Or should I say the unevolved form of Chimeco. Oh, Zubat sucks. I fully agree on that one. Chimeco and Chingling are Pokemon that I don't know why they made them. I don't know why they made them. They have nothing going for them. They have stat-wise, they're okay. But, like, they have access to no really good moves. I'm looking up all the Psychic-type moves you can learn right now. I mean, if you want a defensive wall, Chimeco and Chingling could work for you. fuck, I don't need any more wind chimes on my porch. Now for the rock types. If you were listening earlier, you already know what my least favorite rock type is. It's called Golem. There's nothing I like about Golem. You can't get him unless you evolve him by trading with somebody. He doesn't learn good moves. He's slow as hell. He's a rock ground type, so any grass type 4x damage or water type move 4x damage is going to just own him. Geodude, Graveler, Golem. I'm sorry. If you're a fan of those Pokemon, I'm sorry. I can't help you there. They're just... I can't talk about it without getting angry. I'm moving on. Steel types. There are a lot of good steel types, and it's another one of those lists where the only reason I'm putting this one on there... Aurorus. Oh, yes. She's on my least favorite list as well. But steel types... I don't think there is really a bad steel type. There's just steel types that I don't like. And one of these Pokemon is a Pokemon named Wormadam. Or as in Wormadam, it was a bad idea to make this thing a bug steel type. Its stats are horrific! It's got no good abilities! It's got no good moves! It's slower than shite! You can kill it easily. It's ugly! It literally looks like... oh man, Rebel Vanity. Imagine Chandelure that has been in a room for years and has just pink dust hanging down underneath it like a beard. That is what Wormadam trash looks like. And that's actually its name, Wormadam-trash. And now... Oh, but Bronzong's cute and fun, Jared. Oh. Last but not least, the water type list. Now, once again, I love water types. So it's kind of hard to pick one that would top the list. But I found it. Its name is Octillery. It is such a stupid Pokemon that they could have made it 1,500 times better. Brandon likes Golem for the design. Brandon likes a Pokemon because it's shaped like balls, apparently. It goes from Geodude, which is a floating ball with giant fists,
to a bigger ball.
To Graveler, who just becomes a giant ball with 4 arms and a cool looking mouth and everything. And then somehow, I don't know how it works, but somehow it loses 2 arms and becomes a reptile. It's not Mortal Kombat! Dugong's a pretty bad... I know, Dugong's okay. But what Octillery's problem was it came with this really cool ability. It was the ability that was supposed to make it... it was its signature move, I guess you should say. And that move is Octazooka! Now, Octazooka is bad for many reasons. It's not very damaging. Its accuracy sucks. You can't use it a lot. But it does have a 50% chance of dropping the opponent's accuracy. Or in that case, you could just use a move like Muddy Water, which is stronger. You could give them Mud Shot or Mud Slap, which... Oh wait, I'm looking. He can learn both those moves.
Yep.
In fact, I'm almost 100% sure that if I scroll up here... Yep, and he can learn Muddy Water, too. Which are way better than it. Add the fact that you had to evolve a worthless Remoraid. I could talk about bad Pokemon all day. Staryu. Staryu's a bad one. But I'll say it right now. My all-time least favorite Pokemon of all of them combined is just one Pokemon. And his name is Mewtwo. And Mewtwo is just what it sounds like. He's a genetically created, super powerful beast who they gave 2 evolutions to, and I could give 2 Fs about. He's not strong. He doesn't learn a lot of moves.
Mew bitch slapped him.
You can't combo him very well.
Mew bitch slapped him.
Mew bitch slapped him. I beat him with a level 1 Rattata. I mean, Mantine does suck too. I can give it to you. The Flying Water family is a bad family.
Charizard.
I hate Diglett too. I do hate Diglett. Actually, you know what I hate more than a Diglett or a Dugtrio?
Dugtrio!
I hate their Aloha forms, where Diglett has little Dilbert hairs sticking out the top of its head, and when it evolves, I kid you not, when it evolves into Aloha form Dugtrio, if you take a picture of the band, who sang Umbop? Hanson. That's right. Put a picture of Hanson next to him. Every one of the Dugtrios has one of the haircuts that the Hanson brothers have. And of course the Diglett dig, trio thing really gets under your skin. We could talk about Pokemon we hate until the sun comes up, I'm afraid, because there's a lot of them. And they're just going to keep making them. However, there is something else that will be added. Now, I wanted to add this at the end because I want to do this with Necro later on in the week, and I didn't want to tell him immediately, just so I could sort of surprise him. Now, what we did is we went through a list of our favorite Pokemon Gen 1 through 7, and it's non-monetized, too, so we can't get in trouble for Pokemon, and picked our favorites and least favorites out. Well, he didn't pick his least favorites, but you know what they are. He voiced his opinion quite well.
Pikachu's not
Diglett's nose is actually his mouth, and while the shine on his nose is actually his tooth. Wow, I actually didn't know that, Brian. That's terrifying. I don't think I'm ever going to sleep again thinking about that. So sometime this week we'll announce it ahead of time. If he, wow, what the? Did you hit the fan by any chance?
I was blowing it up so it's not in the camera.
Okay, because somehow the smoke shined the light in my eye.
Oh, sorry,
it's okay. Or the fog or the mist or whatever. But we're actually going to bring up a list of our favorite Fakemon. These are fan-made Pokemon, and these can be anything from those sites such as what are some of those?
We have one that we battle on. There are some on there.
Well, of course, there's that. But what I'm talking about is like sites where you could look up Fakemon.
Oh, I forget. You normally look up the Fakemon.
There's like DeviantArt you can find Fakemon on.
You could even go off of some of the fan-made games.
I was actually going to get to that. You could look up games like Pokemon Sage or Pokemon Uranium. And what we're going to do is I'm actually going to bring a list of what I think are some of the best from those groups. And we'll see what everyone thinks about that one.
So if you guys want to do some research and comment next time we do this.
Yep, you can. Like I said, we have a couple lists that are coming up sometime this week. We're going to do one with Battlefield Brandon and the Kitten of Doom. There's going to be one with me and Necro, and who knows, there might be some more. We might do some more live streaming as the days come through. People seem to enjoy our live streams. I don't know if you guys actually enjoy them.
We hope you do.
Kitten says Tuesday live stream on the country's idea and face reveal. Does that sound good to you? All right, that sounds good to both of us. So yes, Kitten, we'll make that a thing. Battlefield Brandon, you ready for that? Do me a favor, you two, though. I appreciate what you guys are doing, but do not instantaneously start a war between each other. We're just building the countries. We don't need to destroy them already.
Seriously, get your mindsets right.
So, when we come back, this week's going to be a good week. We're going to have a couple live streams set up, and we're going to have a lot of fun. And Necro is going to go to bed because obviously he's sleepy boy. So, until next time, folks, once again, thank you all for coming, and I'm KaijuK.
Thank you, I'm Necro Nick.
And we'll see you all in the future. Peace out, everybody.
Later.